This is Keith Berkelhammer and this is Reefbum TV. So what is the obvious difference between this shot versus this shot? No skimmer, that's correct. For the last 4 weeks I've been running my 187-gallon reef tank without a skimmer as sort of an experiment. A few months ago I lost a number of corals due to what I believe were very low levels of phosphate in the tank. I run an arid algae reactor and it does a great job pulling out nutrients. With the arid, you do have to dose nitrates to keep the chaeto growing, and lately I've been dosing phosphates to keep levels from going too low. Ultimately, you want nitrates and phosphates at a 100-to-1 ratio to maximize chaeto growth. With the arid, you can either use a skimmer or go skimmerless, and let the arid be the sole form of filtration. Ultimately, I decided to pull the plug on the skimmer. Why? Well, I've been having some issues with cyano, and I believe it might be due to excess CO2 in the air where my sump and skimmer are located. The sump is in the same room as my furnace, a potential source of CO2, and there is little to no ventilation in the room. In theory, shutting off the skimmer in this situation should lower CO2 in the tank, since the skimmer's air intake will equalize CO2 levels between the air and tank water. Cyano prefers high CO2, so less is better. At this point, the cyano has receded a bit, so my hope is that it will continue to do so. As I mentioned before, I have started to dose phosphates, another reason I shut the skimmer off since it was driving phosphate too low in conjunction with the arid. Right now my nitrates are at 10 parts per million, and my phosphates with the dosing have climbed to 0.13 parts per million, right at the 100-to-1 ratio I'm seeking. However, I have increased the light period in the arid to lower those levels with the hope it will help beat back the cyano even more. Stay tuned for future updates on my skimmerless experiment. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be alerted to my latest videos.